All right, so Jerry, you've been part of the community for a few years now, and I really love your journey and everything that you're doing. And we'll get to that because I want to hear like what you're working on now. But when you first joined us, when you first joined the FI investors and all of that, where were you at that time, and what were you struggling with?
So when I first joined FI Investors, I was at a point where I was just learning about real estate investing. I actually heard you interviewed on Bigger Pockets, and I started following you. And then I was like, all right, let's jump on the mastermind. And so it was just a very basic knowledge of real estate investing. And I kind of thought like, hey, maybe I want to start investing in my own backyard. But I joined the mastermind, and it was just an incredible experience because I was around a bunch of like-minded individuals, but then also having access to just a lot of different markets that I wouldn't normally visit. So, as part of the mastermind, I got educated on all of the different strategies with real estate investing, whether that's the short term that we all know, midterm, multifamily, long-term rentals. So it was having a solid foundation of learning that over the next, I believe, 6 to 7 months, and to help get the mastermind helped get me over analysis paralysis that we all have, right? And shortly after those 6 months of education through the mastermind and your mentorship and meeting everybody, I was able to buy my first property, my first
Yes.
rental property, because at the time I already had a primary residence.
Yes. Was that primarily your house hack, or did you buy I mean, a quadplex, or did you buy a quadplex later?
I bought the quadplex later. Yeah, it was just the
Quadplex later.
primary that was a house hack.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I remember, and I remember you went to one of our events, and at that event too, I was like, all right, Jerry, what's gonna be the accountability to the end of the year? And then you set a couple of goals,
Right.
and you were able to make it happen. But like you said, it was a little bit of like the analysis paralysis of being stuck in the beginning of not knowing what to do. So that was in the beginning. Where are you at now? Because I know that you have, like, it's been incredible to see that journey. What is the Jerry today?
So as of today, I can proudly say, thanks to FIA and the mastermind, I'm at 32 units across 5 different states. So that has consists of multifamily and just long-term rentals. I was able to buy my mom a house last year. And then aside from the real estate, right, I was able to partner with other FI investor members, and we just acquired our second service-related business in the last 12 months. And then most recently, I just quit my W-2 in July. So now I'm just 100% real estate.
That is legit. Dude, that is
Yeah,
an
man.
incredible story. That's an incredible story. You guys partner up two businesses, right? That's awesome. And then you also, through some of the members of the community, you also bought 10 unit in McAllen, from what I understand. You also bought in Augusta and in Georgia in a few areas. You told me in
Mhm.
Tucson, Arizona, some in Ohio. So even though right now you live in California, you're still
Right.
investing in different states.
Absolutely. And I was able to do that because of the relationships that I built in the mastermind, right? So those friendships become partnerships. And with all of the properties, with the exception of the Ohio property, we
Mhm.
have partners that are boots on the ground in those markets that can kind of give me what's the latest and greatest happening in that market. And they also are bringing deals. So I have a property right now that's under contract, and I only got that property from an FI investor member who brought me the deal. And so it's been a great community to kind of share resources, provide leads to other properties that I might not normally have access to.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. And I remember that time that you set your goal to put in your 2 weeks notice at your
Mhm.
job. How did it feel to actually be like how did it feel when you were able to decide, be like, hey, I am now in a position to quit my job, and now in a position to put my 2 weeks notice, and then to tell the company that you've been working for, say, you know what, hey, I don't need this job anymore. I'm ready to move on.
So I think starting off, I think with any person going through that decision, it's extremely nerve-wracking. It's like, am I making the right decision, right? I think being around your guidance and mentorship and friendship, and being around other members in the community who have gone through the same steps, right?
Mhm.
It's a lot more comforting, right? So I set out that goal, and we identified actionable steps at the retreat in Puerto Rico, and within a matter of 3 or 4 months, I was able to feel comfortable enough to resign, invest 100% of my time into real estate investing. And I honestly hope all of my friends and family and people that, join the mastermind can experience that at some point, because it's such an incredibly rewarding experience to say I no longer have to work a W-2, and I can focus on real estate investing, business acquisitions, or whatever your interests are.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. That is one of those things that's really cool, and seeing everybody take action, grow, and being able to achieve those goals, that in the beginning maybe like, hey, this is an aspiration, but then it actually becomes a goal, and then we create the action plans to make it happen. So that's really good. That's really good. Now, as far as like, what would you recommend to a potential member that is thinking about joining, but then feeling like, hey, I don't know if this mastermind is the one for me, but I know that a mastermind might be what the thing that I need to network with others, so that I can potentially partner up with people. Like anybody that's looking to scale up, what would you tell that potential person?
So I think it depends on their knowledge and what they currently know now. If they don't
Mhm.
know anything about real estate investing or the strategies, you need to be around a community like FI Investors, where you get exposed to guest speakers who can come in every week and tell you about different strategies that's available. That's how I came across at the retreat in Puerto Rico, was hearing about co-living. That wasn't a strategy that was on my radar, right? So I think if somebody's on the fence, they need to get around a community where they can get exposed to a strategy that they are really going to want to pursue. Because I think if you go in not knowing a strategy that you want, you can easily get distracted with the shiny object syndrome. So identifying a strategy that you want to learn more about, picking a community that can also dive deeper into that strategy that you want to pursue. And then if you're just not even familiar with real estate investing, I think you need to get around someone like yourself, where you can bring those guest speakers in so you can educate other members.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's definitely one of those things that building community, talking to other people is really, really important. Now, I also know, because before we got on this call, you were telling me that you had just met up with your pod. Can you share a little bit on the importance of having that accountability pod? And for anybody that listens, one of the things that we do at the FI Investors Mastermind is we put you in a pod of or an accountability group of 4 or 5 other real estate investors. And I feel like you're one of the best ones that have set up, because you guys do also meet in person too, and like once a year. So share a little bit on how powerful that pod has been for you.
Yeah, that's huge. As you mentioned, you guys introduced us to through FI Investors. You introduced us to the accountability groups, and I'm in 3 different accountability groups with all
That's awesome.
members from FI Investors, whether they're local to my market or they're out of state. So the one I was at earlier before our call is they were all out of state, right, with the exception of one person. But um, the accountability group is just extremely powerful in sharing resources, knowledge, keeping each other accountable with goals and tasks, or even identifying where you might need help. And that's where it's been really key in helping us grow. All of our members are growing. We're all in the same boat. And so the accountability group that I was just on, we have all of us no longer work a W-2. So it just kind of goes to show you at some point we did have a W-2, and because of the accountability group, because of FI investors, because of real estate investing, it's allowed us um, to leave our W-2 and focus on building our relationships with our friends, our family, and more importantly, our investing and things like that. So it's been really key. The accountability groups are huge, and a vital to our success in each of our accountability groups.
Yeah, no, that's what's so nice. That's what's so nice about that, and people that are able to share and have the openness, right, to make also the time. That is one of those things. And we, at the FI Investors, we treat accountability very important because that's one of those things like we give you the education, we can give you the action plan, but it's the accountability that helps people succeed, right? And between the going to the events, because I also know that you've gone to multiple events, especially the one in Puerto
Mhm.
Rico to recently. It's
Hey,
like being able, yes, jumping on the Zoom calls is great. And then also being able to partake in meeting people face to face. That's one of those cool things.
without a doubt, I think the accountability groups kind of help further that relationship bond. And then when you go to the retreats, those relationships turn into partnerships potentially. So um, I would totally recommend accountability groups and how you can kind of stay on track with your goals, but also pick each other's brains on new strategies or new questions that you might not heard of. There's countless times where we jump on calls and we're sharing resources, lenders, agents, markets, or even leads on properties. And like I said, just keeping each other accountable with our goals.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that is awesome. That's awesome. Doing those check-ins and everything. That's one of those things that I feel like you and your pod definitely took that to heart, right? And like you said, one of my favorite parts is that all of you are in a position that have quit your jobs or in a positions that you are quitting and seeing that bump, like the goal, if you guys don't want to quit your job, is not
Hmm.
that's not the goal. The goal is to
Right.
have the choice to do it, right?
Exactly.
Exactly. And building the life that you really want, a life by design rather than a life of default. So, which at the end of the day goes to why we created and why it's called the FI investors, because like financial independent investors, you get to choose what you really want to do once you're in that position. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Is there anything else that you would like to just say to anybody that's like feeling like, hey, I am wanting to scale my real estate portfolio, but I don't know yet if this community is the one that can help me scale.
I say get on a call with you as soon as possible, right? That's what I would say. I think you need to if you're having doubts, get on a call with Diego, because I think once you jump on a call with Diego, you will see how selfless, how helpful he is, how much he's willing to give, but also just share knowledge and share resources. I mean, it's been incredible to have you as a friend, and I thank you for what you've been able to do for me and a lot of my accountability partners and friends. And I know without a doubt that without you and your community, there'd be no way that'd be where I'm at today. So I
Yeah,
would say you got to book a call and hear from you, Diego, and kind of the benefits you'll get from the mastermind. But also, I think it's important to reach out to other FI investor members who can kind of jump on a call with you and share their experience, because I'm happy to do that, as well as I know of many other members in the group that will share their experience, what you can expect from the FI community, and how beneficial it is to be a part of it.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's awesome, Jerry. I'm very excited that we get to partake in this, and thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing all about this, giving your testimonial, sharing your story, and we'll be in touch.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you, Jerry.